Welcome back to Sports on Tap, live from Z's Cream and Bean in Hinckley, Ohio, 2706 Boston Road. And, the guests are continue to come in on Sports on Tap here, part of the NEO Sports Insiders Network. And our next guest, what a season he's had. Unbelievably. He actually rushed for a game of 243 yards against Brush. I mean, that in itself is an unbelievable accomplishment. He had a nice win versus Brunswick to end the season, and he's been Athlete of the Week on I don't know how many different fronts you've been on so far, but it's Strongsville senior running back Zach Kahn. No, I got to say it right the first time.
No,
and
you
then
don't. You have to establish it first, and then you do it.
Sean's not
Have
here.
you ever written policy before?
Hey, here.
Heck no, he's
no,
never
I
written
haven't.
My God.
And I don't expect to.
All right, so joining
Zach.
us is our week 3 MVP for the GCC, Zach
Kahn.
There we go.
There.
All right,
Zach,
now we don't
thanks,
have to do it
that
anymore.
better? Is
Now
that
we don't
better?
have to do it anymore.
thanks for joining us, Zach.
Yeah, no
Amateurs.
problem.
Hey, thanks for coming up here. We
Absolutely, thank
appreciate
you.
it. And Zach, talk a little bit. You were here with Rush Jakes when he coached. Then they go over to Larry Laird. What's that change been like? For Strongsville football so far.
Last year with Coach Laird being the new head coach, it was a little bit different. But he just brought a winning mindset over to Strongsville. We went 5-5 my sophomore year. Ended up going 6-4 last year, and then 5-5 this year. But this year, with it being Coach Laird's second year, we all had a feel for the offense, the defense, and just Coach Laird's philosophy. And I think things went very smooth, and I think we were very prepared for this season. And it really helped that Coach Laird was able to get established at Strongsville, and the transition was very smooth.
And you guys played a pretty brutal schedule. I mean, you start out with Avon, then you go right into Hudson. I mean, and that's a great win you guys had against Hudson too. I mean, that really helped you out. I mean, talk about a little bit of the start of the season for you, and as the season went on for you.
I think our schedule is definitely one of the toughest out there. The GCC this year, 4 teams are in the playoffs. We missed it by 1 spot. So, I mean, it's definitely arguably one of the toughest conferences in the whole state. With Euclid, Menor, Solon, and Elyria all being in the playoffs. Avon came out, them being our season opener, they came out and they just hit us in the mouth a little bit. That was kind of a good wake-up call for us. And week 2 being Hudson, that was almost a must-win because we could not start off 0-2. Personally, I only rushed for 20 yards against Avon. And then the following week was also one of my second worst week. I only had 79 rush yards. And then after that, as you guys mentioned, week 3 kind of picked up against Brush, rushing for 243.
That's crazy.
And then actually my season high was 297 against Solon. That was week 7.
And Solon's not too bad of a team.
No, they're a great team. I mean, but yeah, I mean, just to be able to do the things we did against the schedule we played, I mean, it was a pretty big accomplishment for us.
How did it start? I mean, versus Avon. Avon's not a bad team.
Oh,
I mean, they're a really tough team. They're in the playoffs, and they're probably going to win. Well, I'm not going to say they're probably going to win, but they're a very good team, we'll say. You lose that game. How tough was it to bounce back after a game like that? I mean, what was the team's philosophy to keep them really saying, it's only game 1, let's focus and get back in game 2?
It was good because actually most of the whole team was on the same page and had the mindset that Hudson was a must-win. I mean, Avon, Division II playoff team. Hudson is also a Division II playoff team. We knew it was going to be a huge game, and that ended up giving us a ton of computer points and getting us 17th in the region, which ended up missing by 1 spot. But that whole week we prepared very hard, and we knew that was going to be a must-win game for us. And the whole team responded very well to the pressure, and we just knew we couldn't start off 0-2.
Talk about coming into the season. I mean, you guys weren't expected to do a whole lot, but you came out firing. I mean, you guys started off 4-1, and then you ran into a 4-game losing streak, but it just so happened to be against the 4 playoff teams in the GCC. But how did you guys prepare for the season and knowing that you were close last year and then coming in. So how was it preparing?
Yeah, I mean, we spent a ton of time in the weight room. We had a great 2-day session leading up to the season. And I think our senior class this year, we're all just very close friends. I mean, you don't see it often where everyone on the team hangs out outside of football too. But, I mean, a core group of the senior class this year, we all hang out outside of football as well. So I think that helped us a lot. I think everyone just was really just in it for the love of the game this year. And we all just had the same mindset that we wanted to come out and do something special. We had 2 main goals. We hadn't made the playoffs or beat Brunswick since 2008. Thankfully, we were able to accomplish one of those last week.
He's smiling right at you,
yeah.
Ed.
I know.
We weren't able to make the playoffs, but, I mean, it was a good year. We wish we could have done a little bit more. But, I mean, we have no regrets, and we left it all out there. So
yeah, I mean, you guys played essentially 6 teams that made the playoffs this year. I mean, that's just Brunswick. Same thing for Brunswick too. I mean, like you said, I mean, the conference that we play in is just absolutely brutal. And you're right; it is one of the best conferences in the state of Ohio. I don't really care what anyone else says about that. So you talk about your senior class. You guys, you got a pretty tight bond and whatnot. And this is something that I asked the guys from Medina Buckeye when they were here. How do the seniors mesh with the underclassmen? Is it something like where you guys are doing your thing and this is your year, or is it also, well, we can do this, but we can also bring the younger guys with us so we can kind of show them, hey, this is what we're doing. You guys need to be a part of this, and this is how we need things to go going forward.
Yeah, I mean, actually when I was a sophomore, we had previous years where I think we won 1 game and then won 2 games. So my sophomore year was kind of the first year that the seniors took over and really turned it around, and that just set a good tone for us. Coach Laird is very big on senior leadership, so he always would say that the team was going to go as far as the seniors take the team. So we all took that message to heart, really, and we just tried to set a good example for the younger guys. They were a huge part of our team as well, but the team went as far as the seniors were going to take them.
Well, and let's talk a little bit about some of the players on your team that you had a good season with. The guys up front, your offensive line. I mean, they seem like they really blocked well for you this year on some of these games. Like you said, you had a game with over 200. You had 243 yards, and then another 290? You said
297.
I mean, that's pretty impressive, but you need a good offensive line to do that with. Talk a little bit about your offensive line and some of the offensive weapons you guys had this year.
Yeah, I mean, our offensive line had a great season. They're huge. I mean, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but
they're not small.
No, they're not
they're
small
not
at all.
small. My God.
Like I said, I mean, we kind of truthfully struggled week 1. And we were able to make some great adjustments up front after that first week and then kind of take off once we got into the swing of the season. And, I mean, they did a great job opening up holes for me. Their main job is just to get me through the front line. If they can get me through the defensive line, I'll personally take myself with, a lot of the linebackers, the defensive backs, just with my athleticism. But, I mean, they did just a fantastic job. I mean, the 200-plus games I had, they don't happen without that line.
Everybody's looking at me.
Well,
I was looking at
you had a
Josh.
question.
You had some. You have the stats up here, Josh.
No. Oh, I thought he was going to say something about your stats because all year you've been almost an MVP candidate in probably most weeks.
Yeah. I tried to spread it around as much of the GCC as I could, so that's why you were only week 3. But there's obviously some good athletes in the GCC.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But we'll talk a little bit. Sorry, Ed, about the game Brunswick Strongsville. It was my spotlight game because I'm kind of biased and I've played in that game before.
Yep.
I know the rivalry hasn't been much of a rivalry lately. It kind of got back to it last year a little bit, and now they moved the game to the last game of the season again, which is good. You guys just came out and basically just put a whooping on Brunswick, 42-14. Your quarterback, Ryan Robertson, had a very good game, 255 yards and 4 touchdowns. And when you force a Brunswick team that plays the wishbone into passing, that's not going to be very good. So talk about, how your team's prepared for that game and how your defense prepared to what could be a very hard team to prep against, wishbone style.
I'll start offensively. I mean, it was no secret that running the football was very big for us and our team. And we knew that Brunswick was obviously going to try and stop the run first. I mean, we knew that going in that we were going to play against 8, 9 guys in the box. And Ryan had a fantastic game. I mean, he threw 4 touchdowns. And we knew that Brunswick was going to make us beat them through the air. And Ryan just did a great job. Our receivers had big games. And then defensively, preparing the wishbone, our scout team did a good job that week helping our defense prepare. A lot of playing against the triple option or an offense like that is just assignment football and tackling the fullback or quarterback or the wingbacks on every play, no matter who has the ball. And we knew that if we were able to get out to a lead, that their strong point wasn't necessarily passing. And then, I think we had 3 interceptions, 2 by Sean Askey and 1 by Kyle Bakos. So, I mean, our defensive backs played the ball great in the air. And being able to play with the lead is a real big advantage, when you're playing a team like that.
How was the atmosphere in the game? When you first run out there and, people are starting to file in. I remember that game was nuts. We played at Strongsville. I only played my senior year. And,
that was at Old Taliac. I mean, behind center. And that's when their senior year and my senior year was both at that game. Okay. It was both there. And
the atmosphere was just crazy. I mean, you get the Strongsville crowd when you're running through there saying "Go home" and yelling.
Start your tractors.
Yeah. But I mean, the atmosphere is so great, and that's why I love when this game now is the last game of the season because for a while it was almost in the middle of the season, and this is one of the best rivalries in high school football, in my opinion. What was it like for you? The last game of the season. Throw records and everything out the window when it's Strongsville and Brunswick. What was the atmosphere like?
Well, you also
the game?
you also seem to realize that you guys haven't beaten Brunswick in what 6 years?
Yeah, that was a big message. It's 7 years.
7 years. Sorry,
since 08.
I went to Brunswick, public school kid, Brunswick.
That was we definitely had that one circled on our calendar. I had played in that rivalry 2 times before since I've started as a sophomore. So my sophomore year, we kind of had a chance at the playoffs. They knocked us out that year.
That was in Brunswick.
That one was in Brunswick.
That was like a 35. I mean, it was a high.
Yeah, I mean, it was a close game. Last year, we definitely had a chance at making a playoffs. Menor was our last game, and if we were able to beat Brunswick, we probably would have got in. We would have went 7-3 and got in. That was also senior night, and they came out and beat us. So personally, I mean, I had a very big chip on my shoulder to beat Brunswick my senior year.
I don't blame you.
And especially for us, I mean, we still had a 50-50 shot at making the playoffs coming in the last week. Unfortunately, some stuff that we needed to happen didn't happen. But, I mean, the atmosphere was definitely, as good as it's going to get. The venue that they have with that stadium and everything is just fantastic. So, I mean, running out on the field against Strongsville, Brunswick, I mean, it's one of the best games that we've played all year.
We're talking with Strongsville running back Zach Kahn, who joins us from Z's Cream and Bean.
You said it wrong again, Rob.
No, we already established it. We don't have to say it again.
Oh, all right. My bad.
Anyways.
We'll say it again. Don't worry.
We will. We'll finish it off with that. Zach, you had a great senior year. We talked a little bit about before the show about where you're thinking about continuing both your education and your athletic career at. Why don't you talk about where you're looking at and what the prospects are?
Yeah. Right now, I have two offers from Division I FCS teams. Both in the Pioneer Football Conference. One is Davidson College in North Carolina, and the other one is Marist College in New York. Both have already offered me to play football there. I've also talked to some schools in the Ivy League, including Cornell, Penn, and Columbia. I've actually already visited Cornell and was able to camp there in the summer, so I got a feel for how the campus was. I'm just trying to find a school that I really enjoy, and that if football weren't to work out, that I would still love the school. And, academics are obviously very important to me, and that's going to play a big role in deciding where I want to go to school. I'm not just going to pick a school because I can play football, because I know, my education is going to carry me for the next 40 years of my life. So, it's a big decision, and the recruiting process, it's It's been wild. I mean, anyone that tells you it's easy, it's really not. But I mean, it's a fun time, no doubt.
Now, do you know what you want to do in college? Do you know what you want to do?
I think I want to study something along the lines of business, whether it be marketing or maybe accounting. I have a general idea, but nothing, set in stone yet.
Gotcha.
Yeah, business will take you pretty much anywhere. I mean,
True.
You get a little taste of everything, and then jumping in a company and just let it ride.
Yep.
That's what I did.
Well, are there any other questions we have for Zach while we have him here?
Zach, do you play any other sports, or do you have anything
baseball,
else? Do you have
right?
anything else coming up in the offering here?
Yeah, I mean, I actually play baseball too.
How you guys looking? How you guys looking this year for baseball?
We should be pretty good. I mean, Strongsville baseball has been pretty strong. I mean, we play a very tough schedule.
You guys won it last year, didn't you?
We won our conference.
Yeah.
And then we go into the new GCC this year. So I mean, we're looking forward to that. But I mean, we have a pretty good team coming back this year, so I'm looking forward to it.
Now, when does that start for you? Does that start soon?
We have off-season liftings that'll begin pretty shortly, and then I think our tryouts start towards the end of February.
Okay.
But with everything football related, if I'm gonna end up playing college, I'll take it from there. Maybe spend the whole off season working out and getting my body ready for college football. So I mean, I'm just taking it. I'm just enjoying senior year and just taking it one day at a time.
That's what you got to do. You got to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, what position do you play for baseball?
Center field.
Oh man, you got to be in pretty good shape to do all that. Very nice.
How about the Indians probably could use a power hitting center fielder. Do you have some power?
Yeah, I do.
Are you a right-handed batter or
right-handed?
Oh, all right.
Righty. Yep.
Sign him up.
That's right. Well, Zach, we appreciate you coming on our show and talking to us.
Yeah, no problem.
And,
this is awesome.
Good luck with everything
as
you look ahead.
Thank you.
And do you guys want to say it one last time?
You want to set it up?
Yes, I will.
Yeah, Josh has to. He's done it all year.
Yes. Zach, appreciate you coming on. Maybe we'll talk to you during baseball season, get you back on, see how that's going, see how recruiting has gone.
For sure.
So we'd like to thank Strongsville running back Zach
Kahn
for coming in today. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me.
Sports on Tap's coming right back. We'll do Week 10 recaps, preview for the Week 11 playoffs all coming up. We're Sports on Tap, part of the NEO Sports Insiders Network.